everybody, it is Liz with the Best of Magic Valley. It is a cold, wintry day here, so we are going to do a spotlight on the Magic Tea House. Let's go inside and warm up. All right, guys, so we are inside the Magic Tea House, and I have to say, the aesthetic and the feel of this, it's amazing. It's calming. I feel like I am going to be able to just let it all out when I'm here. So is that kind of the feeling you were going for? Explain to us why you wanted to open a tea house and the feel you like.
Okay, so the reason why I opened the tea house was because we don't have one here in Idaho, in southern Idaho. We have one, there's one in Coeur d'Alene.
Okay.
But that's it. The more east you go, the more you'll find tea houses. And then on the west coast in the west, Oregon, Seattle, and down through California. But we didn't have one here. We have tons of coffee shops here. But there's no place to get fresh tea. All of my teas are organic. They're all fair trade. That's something, when I started this process, I really wanted to make sure that the tea farmers were getting paid for their product. And then the aesthetics of the place, this is like my house. When you walk into my house is very much like this. Hippie chic.
It's like a chill zone to me.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And that's what I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be very relaxing, so that anybody could come in if they wanted to sit down and do some work and just relax without the world around them. They can. I have another sitting room that a lot of people come to. They'll paint, they'll do their work, they'll have lunch, they'll have a pot of tea, and just relax.
That's great. So speaking of the paintings, all of these are, you collect them over a certain amount of time and then you give the proceeds to the Optimist Youth House, correct? So explain a little bit about how people can come in and purchase that, or if there's a certain day or time that you do those.
Yeah, so what we do is when I collect enough, I'll start taking pictures of them, and then I post them on Facebook, on my site on Facebook, and I'll let them know when the bidding starts. And we run the auction for about a week, and then after that week, they come in and pay for the art and take it home, and then at the end of the week, I collect all the proceeds and we take it over to the Optimist Youth House.
That's amazing. I love that you have focused so much about giving back to the community around you, because what you were saying before as I was listening is when you have leftover soup or tea, you post on your Facebook and then come pay what you want.
Yeah.
And so I know that especially Filer and in Twin, there are a lot of those families that need that extra help. And so I think that that's great that you are reaching out to the community like that. So
well, I feel that it's important, especially if somebody needs to eat. We have a lot of resources, but a lot of people don't know about all the resources. So with me being able to feed somebody at the end of the night, I wish I could do it more. I wish I could be a restaurant that just says pay what you feel. Unfortunately, I can't yet. That is my ultimate goal. So that way, you know, nobody comes in and leaves hungry. I want people to be full and be relaxed when they come in here. And one of my signs on my door is leave your judgment right there. We do not judge in here at all, ever. I don't care what walk of life you come from, what religious background you come from. I don't care. If you're a good human, that's all that matters.
That's great. I was looking around all these different teas that are over here on the wall, and I'm not very tea savvy. I do prefer tea over coffee, but I thought there was green, black, breakfast, and like raspberry mint. And come to find out, there's like a whole span of teas. So do you sometimes mix different things and come up with different flavors and concoctions, or do you do? That's amazing.
We do. So we have, I start off with the blacks, and then we go into the reds, we go into the spices, herbals, and then fruits and specialties, and then I have single botanicals. So like one thing right now that's really popular is ashwagandha. Ashwagandha kind of mellows you out.
Yes, it does.
Okay, so I have just straight ashwagandha root.
Oh.
And you can add those into your teas.
So no more gummies.
No, you don't have to have gummies. You can add it right into your tea. My nephew, he'll come in and say, I need one. And so I'll make him just straight ashwagandha iced.
That's amazing.
Or you can mix it into a different tea, however you want to do it. We also have nettle, we have echinacea. So we have all those other flavors that you can add to your teas. So Earl Grey is a really popular tea. A lot of people like lavender in it. So I have just botanical lavender that you can add into it.
That's great. So do they have to come in here and you make them the tea, or can they purchase leaves from you and make them at home?
I do both. Okay. So we have hot and iced, and then you can purchase by the ounce.
Perfect.
And so I offer discounts if you bring in your own jar, or if you buy one of my jars and then bring it back, you'll get a discount on it.
That's great.
Because then we're not using plastic or paper, and it's not being put into a landfill.
Right.
Same with my to-go cups. So if you bring in your own to-go cup, then you're going to get it filled, but you're going to get 50 cents off your fill. So if you go for the tea of the day, my tea of the day is always $3.
Okay.
Okay. So if you bring in your own to-go mug, it's going to be $2.50, and that's up to 32 ounces. So you can get a big one.
Yeah. Yeah.
For $2.50.
Wow, that's great. That's amazing. What is your background, or what made you, I know that because we didn't have a tea house, but where did your love of tea come from?
Wanting something different besides coffee. That, and being, you know, you get those colds and you get the flu and all that, and you go to the store and you buy your tea and you don't know how long it's been there.
So tea expires.
It does. And so with the teas that I have, they're fresh. You can steep them more than once because they are fresh and they're whole leaf. So there's a huge difference between bag teas and fresh teas. When you open a bag tea, it's shake. It's like dust. It's very fine. When you have real tea, or I shouldn't say real tea, it's all real, but fresh tea, it's whole tea leaves. So there's a huge difference. You're going to get more flavor out of a loose leaf tea than you will a bag tea.
Perfect. So speaking of flavor, explain to us what the tea is here in front of us.
So the tea that we have right here is Sassy Citrus Spice.
Okay.
It has a lot of spices in it. It has orange, it has citrus, lemon. It is naturally sweet. There's no added sweetener in it. It's usually the one that I go to for introductory teas.
Okay.
Because it's so versatile and people really love this one. I also use this one to mix with my blood orange rooibos. I mix them both and infuse it with apple juice to make mulled apple cider. It's amazing.
Wow. Yeah. So you're more about, well, I'm gonna try this first actually. Let's try this tea. Oh, that is really good. So the first difference that I notice, because I do drink tea at home, is maybe my tea's expired because there's not that weird feeling in my throat of like, you know, the leaves getting stuck sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's very smooth, it's very flavorful, it doesn't stick to your palate.
Yeah.
But it leaves you wanting more.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. I will be back for sure. So, but you're not just about, here, let me make you a cup of tea. You're more about the education of the tea because it does do so much for your soul and your body.
It does. Right now, we have a lot of people that there's a flu strain going around. there's another virus going around that people are losing their voice. And then we have COVID on top of it.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So what I've been doing is I've had people message me and say, hey, this is what's going on. What do you have?
Perfect.
And so I'll give them a list of, so this is for this is for that. I have a singer's tea that is made with licorice root that coats your throat and helps get your voice back and helps with laryngitis and sore throats. And then we have Big Sky Breeze, which is made with eucalyptus, which opens up your airways to help you breathe. We have Beat the Snot Out of You, which gets rid of mucus. So we have a bunch of different teas that I'm like, okay, here's these, now cycle through them. Don't just drink one. When you have 1 cup, then go to the next and the next, and so that you're getting the whole effect.
That's great. So last question that we ask every single person. What do you love most about the Magic Valley and living here?
My community. I didn't know that I would get so much love. I really didn't. I didn't think that this would go over, especially in this location. This location is off the beaten path. I didn't think anybody would come here. I tried to get a place on Main Street. I could not find anybody to lease to me or sell to me. And doing this, I did this with no loans. I did this all out of pocket.
That's great.
So maxing out all my credit cards to be able to do this. So I tried to find a place in Twin. The cheapest I could find was $3,500 a month with nothing in it, that I'd still have to do everything. Right. And my in-laws own the shop next door, and they own this place. And this place, because it's connected, it happens to be commercial. And they said, try this out.
That's great.
At least this would give me some protection, so that I was able to do this, to see where I can go. And I know that I'm going to have to move eventually, because I'm going to outgrow it.
But that's the goal, and that's the plan, and that's great.
That is the goal, is to get a bigger place so that I can do parties, big parties. Right now I can do small parties up to 15 people, and I've done little girls' birthday parties, which were
parties.
Absolutely adorable.
That touches my heart.
These little girls, she was turning 5.
Oh, yeah.
Came in these big floofy dresses, tiaras, and white gloves.
Oh.
And
that would be my 5-year-old.
Yeah, it was amazing. We did scones, we did cakes.
Oh, that's great.
We did fruit, and then teas, and I had little teacups for little girls, and it was wonderful. And then we've hosted the Red Hat Ladies. We've had the knitting club. We've had the Tai Chi club. So it has been absolutely wonderful having those groups come in here and support me, and I get to support them, and it's a lot of word of mouth.
That's great. Well, that's great. Well, I'm excited to finish my cup of tea, and thank you so much, Kelly, for sitting down with us, and I cannot wait to see this place grow.
Thank you.